Did you know that the THC students over the years have come from 32 different states and 7 other countries? It is a broad population that we bring to the THC here at Eastern University. Our next speaker, as any alum or student here tonight will attest, it is the opportunity to engage with and learn from outstanding faculty that makes the THC what it is. Dr. Phil Cary has taught the year-long Western Civilization course in the THC from its founding. In fact, Dr. Cary has taught 20 of those 100 courses, or 100 course sections I mentioned earlier. He is a passionate, inspiring, and energetic scholar, teacher, and mentor, and the students of the THC are fortunate to have the opportunity to study with him. Dr. Cary will come to offer some reflections on the THC experience from the faculty perspective, and while he comes forward, I'll share this. One of the privileges of serving in the office of the provost is that my office is right around the corner from the great room in Fowler Hall. And so I have a little bit of a window, more so an ear, frankly, on a number of those classes. Dr. Cary usually teaches with his door open, which I love. What I'm trying to do very hard is to arrange my schedule so that I have no meetings on the days and the times that Dr. Cary teaches. I would love to sit at my desk and simply take notes. But the meetings persist. But Phil, come share.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much. That was very kind. It's odd to talk and actually have people want to listen. It does happen sometimes. But you know, I'm also known to talk too much. So I'll keep it brief if I can. The classroom at the Templeton Honors College is a lot of fun. It really is. It reminds me, I've been reminded, especially this semester, we've got a bunch of students who can't stop asking questions. But that's par for the course. But this is a particularly lively group, and they keep pushing me around. You know, the questions, right? Questions have a force. They push you, and I keep learning because they keep asking me these questions. For me, the classroom experience has been a continual learning experience. What's so fun about it is learning together. I once decided that I think that the definition of boredom is nothing to learn. That's what boredom is. Well, we're never bored in the classroom at the Honors College. At least I'm never bored. I don't think most people are. It's a form of friendship centered on learning and driven by questions, usually student questions. That's the hard part. It turns out, you know, as I try to tell students, in high school you think that the smart kid is the one with the answers, right? But it turns out the smart ones are the ones with the questions. Socrates taught us that. And here are these students asking these questions all the time, right? And pushing their professor around. It does make it, you know, a little hard to control the class, get things done properly. This current class is, I think, a week behind in its reading. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do about that. But we've been having too much fun. And we've been learning to become friends around the business of learning, which, wow, it's really neat to be able to make a living doing that. So here we are having all this fun, and you know, this is an odd experience for me because nobody's asking me any questions. I'm not used to that. Teaching is really easy because my students tell me what they want to learn. But they've read the books, right? And it doesn't take very long before we find our way into a dark wood or into an inner space, or into a garden in Milan, or out of a cave, and we're wondering where we are. And it's an adventure that one of the things that you students haven't had the opportunity to do is to take the same adventure every year. And I've been taking it now for 10 years, with the exception of one sabbatical year. And you know, I haven't gotten tired of this adventure yet. I keep learning new things, right? Because you keep surprising me with your questions. And some of the questions are very familiar, but always there's a new twist, and always I get pushed around in new ways, and always we end up with a unique adventure, even though it's the same texts. The curriculum hasn't really changed much. The reading list hasn't changed much, and it's still a new adventure for me every year. I hope you're having a good adventure too. It would be interesting for some of you in the first years to sit in on the class this year and see how much has changed. One thing that's happened, for instance, is that King Lear, which is a play that you've all read with me, a play that I loved long before I ever came to teach at Eastern, keeps growing on me, like everything in the Honors College curriculum, but Lear especially. I didn't realize when I assigned it to you first year Honors College, you first cohort, I didn't realize that it was such a deeply Christian play. I thought of it as a bleak exercise in examining the problem of evil and suffering, but no, it's one of the deepest, most Christian pieces of literature ever written. It's just astonishing. Lear is a king who learns by suffering. Well, that's Messiah too. He's a king who learned by suffering. Lear becomes a better king, but doesn't have much time to live afterwards. But the new king is going to be Edgar. He's the one who has the last lines in the play. And he's a king who's learned by suffering, right? Much more like Messiah king than like Lear. But Lear learned the lesson at the end. The suffering isn't meaningless in Shakespeare. It's messianic, it's Christological. I didn't realize that when I assigned Lear the first time for you folks. So some of you missed that bit. Yeah, I learned that after teaching Lear 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, I forget how many. Right? Same thing happens with Flannery O'Connor. She's a sneaky lady, and I still remember, thinking, oh, the 6th time I read that, that's when I figured this bit out. So you folks who are around this time, you've got the benefit of my experience. But that experience is the experience of being pushed around by all those questions. It's a fun place. It's a place of friendship. It's a place where there's too much to do to be bored. And it's a place where we learn that reading can be a way that Shakespeare can teach you about Christ. That's something that I didn't know before I started teaching you guys. So thanks a lot.